Good morning. Welcome to the Designers Lighting Forum presentation today on the world of illusion versus allusion. Today's presenters will be Abhay M Wadhwa and Justin Moench.
Hi, and good morning to all of you. Thank you for attending our seminar. Justin and I are very happy to host you for a talk on the differences between the world of illusion and the world of allusion. My name is Abhay Wadhwa. I am the design principal and CEO here at AWA Lighting Designers. I founded AWA in 2002. And over the past 18 years, we've had a fabulous journey of creating evocative spaces around the world. The question of whether we should create an illusion or work on the allusionary capacities of architecture has been at the forefront uh, for our projects. We are always examining this angle in how light can be utilized um, to further the architectural goals, either towards the allusionary side or creating the illusions side. A little background to me, I'm an architect by training. I did my graduate studies at the Lighting Research Center up at RPI in upstate New York. I also have been teaching there from 2003 to this year as adjunct faculty at the Lighting Research Center. This year, unfortunately, we had to end the relationship because of the repercussions of COVID-19 and budgets. In any case, we have a great design practice where we focus on research-driven solutions. And we look forward to sharing these two remarkable projects with all of you. So over to Justin. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Justin Moench. I'm the Associate Director at AWA Lighting Designers. I'm based in the New York studio. I've worked at AWA over the last 12 years. I have a Bachelor's of Architecture degree and Building Science degree from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I also achieved my lighting minor at RPI in the Lighting Research Center, where I actually met Abe as my teacher 17 years ago. And since it is August 18th, 2020, I should mention that the photo on my bio here was taken 7 years ago on my wedding day. So happy anniversary to my wife, who's in the audience. The learning objectives. At the end of this course, participants will be able to 1. Learn how memory colors affect the expectation of the viewer. 2. Understand the issues connected with the outer two dimensions of color, hue, and value in relation to memory and subjective preference. 3. Learn about the relationship between the spectral power distributions of the light source, varying building materials, and human judgments of preference. And 4. Learn how the color preference and saturation in the lighting of colored building materials are impacted by electric light. During this presentation, we'll look at the factors in the analysis, creating the illusion, creating the allusion, and conclusions along the way. While exploring and analyzing design solutions, there is often an important distinction that needs to be made pre-facto. Shall we pursue options that allude to the architecture, or willfully create illusions that are superimposed on a willing architecture? Through this analysis arise two distinct visual worlds, a world of illusion or a world of allusion. The appropriate choice of direction for the project is then a mirror to the cultural and historical context through the prism of illusion or allusion. We will now present two AWA projects, Soularium and Illusion, and Ismail Building and Allusion. Creating the Illusion, a case study of the AWA project Soularium. Soularium is an immersive light, color, and sound installation for improving public health. It is designed to provide sensory experiences that de-stresses and realigns your body, mind, and soul. Soularium comes in 4 sizes. It is a modular design and can be implemented anywhere in the world, fulfilling a major social responsibility for providing emotional and mental support to the audiences in such trying times. So how does it work? This project harnesses the wisdom and knowledge of scientists, physicians, psychologists, musicians, chromatotherapists, and projection artists to create a 20-minute experience with the serious intent of helping the community with their stress, which can be induced by many reasons, reducing it and rechanneling it by using the science of healing that has been handed to us through the prism of many different cultures. The illusion of Soularium is created through the selection of the proper wavelengths in each and every moment of the story. As you can see in the storyboard on the screen, each part of the We Are the Miracle story is told through the use of images and projection mapping and the selection of colors for the room and the space, along with the bilateral colors, its connection to nature in certain aspects of the stories, along with the light connection to the elements, and the length that you want each of these elements to be harnessed during your time in the Soularium. Since we started work on Soularium, we have completed 2 temporary installations. One in Croatia in September 2019, the images you can see on the screen, and the other at Gallery AWA in New York City in December 2019. These installations are titled You Are the Miracle. The sequence opens and closes with a 5-minute guided meditation led by instructions from the DeRose method. On the next slide, we will show you a highlights video from the Pula, Croatia installation in September 2019. four elements that make up the illusion that the Soularium creates are chromotherapy, super wavelengths of light, lateral color therapy, along with sacred geometry and mandalas, as you can see here on the screen, with the projection mapping and storytelling, the elements of nature, along with the healing frequencies, chakra balancing. The Soularium utilizes sounds and planets and chants and gongs to create a fully immersive illusion. This 36-foot diameter dome can hold up to 40 people. The interior of the dome, as seen through the dome itself in this visual, has several types of spaces for different experiences, whether in the large group in the center of the dome or individual healing pods on the perimeter. As we peel back the effects on the dome itself, you can see clearer into the center of the dome. On the left, you can see the exploded axonometric diagram of the dome and all of its built elements. Just to its right, you can see an even further blow-up of the central lighting and sound equipment that make up the dome experience. From the moment you enter the Soularium, you are bathed in memory color. And no matter where you move throughout the space, you experience different colors and different wavelengths that are specific to the illusion the Soularium wishes to create. It is in the center of the Soularium that you can experience all of the colors and the full spectrum of what is intended to happen. From the pixel mapping and projection onto the inner drum, or the colors and sounds being projected in the outer dome above. Soularium exists to help us at many levels. Most of us are always getting caught up in everyday demands, never-ending goals, and hectic schedules. The constant busyness imbalances our physical, emotional, and mental health. Through the use of color and its illusion, Soularium helps restore this balance. To offer proof that the world of illusion created by the Soularium has an impact on its visitors, we will now play two videos of the testimonials from the visitors after they've experienced the Soularium, both in Pula and then in New York.
See on the screens all the images, the colors, and really I began to feel a big opening of the heart and of the body, and quite quickly I could feel that my hands were sparkling, especially my hands were sparkling everywhere, like champagne bubbles everywhere, and then they became like balls of energy around the hands, and wow, something going down, like but very soft, very gentle, very sweet, and very pleasant, and feeling it. So I came out of that really full of energy and of ease. It was so pleasant, so warm, a lot of warmth. That's what I wanted to share. It was really a great experience for me. Thank you so much for the interview.
I really like the message. You know, you are the miracle. We are the miracle. That is something that our society needs to know, because every single cell in our body is a miracle, and
beautiful production, really greatly appreciated. I really liked it. It's not difficult to try to bring a bit of the mystical feeling into an audiovisual production. It's very difficult, and you managed pretty well. The soundtrack really have beautiful soundtrack, beautiful visual effects, and the power animal, the eyes that kept coming, the progression through the rainbow of colors, the chakras, many beautiful elements interwoven. Wonderful.
I think it's very nice made. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank
I was moved inside. The music was totally in me, coming through me. I couldn't help but to sing with it, to chant with it. The colors and the images, conception of it was right on, and I was able to let go and just experience emotion and the message that we have the power to create a world that works for everybody.
But I had a personal experience in there of almost getting in touch not only with my own inner child, but also the inner child of everyone else in the room. It's kind of hard to explain, but just not only was I observing the video, I was also looking around at the other people in the room with me, and I don't know if it was the colors or the sound or combination of everything, but it was almost like we were all little kids in there, and not these adults with all the problems and stresses of life. So that was kind of what they did to prepare us to go in, was to kind of release our stresses, and I also found the message very flattering as a reminder that we're all miracles, because it's easy to forget. So definitely won't be forgetting this experience. Definitely one for the books.
Mais ça me fait rêver, et tous les mandalas qui j'ai vus et toutes les couleurs, c'est touchant. Moi, ça me touche, mais plus touchant dans cette Soularium, c'est pour moi cette petite graine qui sort, et c'est un espoir pour notre futur, c'est espoir pour notre aujourd'hui, et voilà, ça fait du bien, ça fait du bien.
They came out relaxed and they see a whole part of new world, new themselves, and it's been really fun and enjoyable working with you too as organizers and as talented artists as you are.
My name is Lucia and I'm from Pula, Croatia.
My name is Simona and I'm too from Pula, Croatia.
Okay, so this is your first time on Soularium?
No, this is my second time. I was already here yesterday and I really enjoyed it.
It is my first time here in Soularium and I'm really impressed.
Okay, so what was the things that you liked, disliked?
The sound, I really like the sound and the visuals, the video that we watched. It's really relaxing and refreshing.
Yes, it is really relaxing, and smell and everything is good, better than good. It's really good. Yes.
that I think there's a lot of condensation in this. There's a lot of I'm done. I can't even talk anymore.
I could feel the vibration of the sound. And so the combination of the sound and the light I think were unique. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was very, like she said, mesmerizing.
Well, I thought it was an incredible experience. I've never experienced anything like that. It was one of a kind, and I'm happy I attended. It was great.
I felt like closing my eyes and meditating, but I wanted to watch the screen. I talked to the technical guys a little bit before, so at the end I noticed the 7 colors they mentioned in miracles.
Amazing. It was calming and peaceful. I loved it.
It was amazing, especially the lighting was incredible.
Yeah, the lighting especially. I don't know who programmed it, but that guy's really good.
It was so refreshing. It was so awesome. You know, I felt like it's so good. Like I can't explain the feeling. It makes me feel like it's so nice. It's so relaxing. You get relaxing during that. It's a moment of relaxing where you forget all your problems. You forget all your sorrows, and you get to focus. And I now believe in myself that I am the miracle.
I think it was very beautiful. It played a lot of my emotions. There was moments I was smiling, moments I almost cried, and I think it really touched the inside of me.
I really enjoyed it. Very relaxed. It brought down a couple levels. I needed that today.
Oh, nice.
I just asked Abhay about this, but I was interested. I really responded to the pink and like the purple lights. They were extremely satisfying. And I felt a lot of the sound in my sinuses. Great. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
The Soularium thanks you for being our honored guests. When you are finished experiencing the light, please exit at the rear of the stage. We wish you a meaningful and soulful evening, enjoying the miracle you are.
Creating the Illusion, a case study of the AWA project Ismail Building that is located in the Flora Fountain area of Fort Mumbai, India. The 111-year-old Edwardian neoclassical building was once owned by the Ismail Yusuf Trust and formerly housed banks and offices. The building now houses the retail giant Zara, covering 5 floors and a total of 51,300 square feet. Historical buildings, especially those preserved by local regulations and interests, have an architectural character that reminds the local community of their heritage and its important cultural connection to the past. In most historical buildings, a combination of material types is used, with a contrasting stone used as a trim for relief work. In this project, we explored the relationship between the spectral power distributions of light sources, various building elements, building materials, and human judgments of preference. Because most lamps used currently, LEDs, have discontinuous spectral power distribution, SPD, characteristics, their use can cause unexpected shifts in the color appearance of building materials relative to their appearance in daylight conditions. These shifts can lead to negative subjective reactions from those viewing the building. We developed a lighting design that balances conservation concerns related to the heritage facade with clear aesthetic goals. The lighting design solution is one where poetic romanticism goes hand in hand with practicality, where function meets the emotional characteristics of this neoclassic building, and the details are highlighted and subtly integrated. The elements of the building, such as the columns and cornices, are all lit like individual actors on a stage, playing to a pointed script. The properties of contrast were utilized to highlight the actors on this heritage building. Each floor has been treated with appropriate fixtures for different elements, and the light levels and distribution were composed together to achieve a harmonious balance. The design seamlessly integrates the lighting hardware into the historical architecture of the facade to maximize the visual impact at night, while minimizing any visible hardware during the day. We endeavored to bring back the grandeur of the structure by highlighting neoclassical identities and geometric forms that run throughout the facade. Over the next few images, we'll show you how the lighting was detailed further and some of the scenes that were set to give a different appearance over the whole evening. We have studied the effect of electric light sources on the color of materials and have shown that the preferred color of an object under an electric light source is more saturated than its color appearance during daylight. For building facades, this preference for higher color saturation may also be linked to the concept of memory colors. Having seen a building under daylight, the viewer relies on his or her memory to recall the color appearance of the building's materials. Memory colors tend to be characteristic of the dominant chromatic attribute of the object in question, and more saturated than the actual color of the object. Because of this, a viewer expects to see the building material as more saturated under an electric light source at night than appeared when viewed in daylight conditions. If the chromaticity of the material at night under electric light matches the chromaticity of the material under daylight, the viewer's response is expected to be less than favorable because they've compared the nighttime appearance of the material with their memory of the daytime appearance, and thus expected to see a more saturated material. Therefore, a lamp that shifts the coordinates of the material towards greater saturation along its dominant wavelength would be preferred, as it would likely meet the expectation of the viewer. As part of the design process on this project, 2 experiments were undertaken to test this hypothesis. The purpose of the first experiment was to validate the memory colors shift towards greater saturation. The second experiment was conducted to examine the subjective preference for stone under different light sources, which changed the chroma of the stone. Hue and value kept constant. 3 types of colored stones used on this historical facade were used for the experiment. The data analysis indicates that a significant difference does exist, and the results are consistent with what was expected. Based on this, it is preferred that the lamp used for lighting historical facades saturates the chroma of the material in the direction of its dominant wavelength. It is important to note that the range of saturation for memory colors is localized around the actual chroma and does not extend to the spectrum locus. This study was a step towards answering the question of color preference and saturation and lighting of colored building materials using electric light. However, issues connected with the outer 2 dimensions of color, hue and value, are being studied further for their interaction with memory and subjective preference. Physical properties of building materials, such as their texture, architectural styles, and a combination of stone types, are also being studied for their effect on color preference. The appropriate choice of direction for a project is then a mirror to the cultural and historical context through the prism of illusion or allusion. We want to thank you for taking your time today to listen to our presentation in the world of illusion versus illusion. And we hope that you can see now a little bit clearer that there is no right or wrong approach here, but 2 different sides to the same coin. This concludes the American Institute of Architects Continuing Education System course. We want to thank our LEDucation 2020 presentation sponsor, the IES New York City section, celebrating 114 years this year, and the Q&A will begin shortly.
I guess while we're waiting for the questions, one of the questions that came out on the Soularium was which element came first? And I just wanted to elaborate on that actually there are 9 elements that are working together. None of them came first or second. They worked in conjunction to create these compositions. Sound was definitely an important part of it, but the whole premise was that sound is frequencies, light is wavelengths, and they're related to each other, and how they work with your body physiology is the essence of this project, right? And if you need more information on how it all came together, there are 3 things that you can do. One is you can go to soularium.net, which is the website dedicated to this project. The second is you could buy our book on Amazon called Contextualizing Light. It has essays on how this was all put together. Justin has strategically placed the book right behind him. Beautifully done. Thank you, sir. And the third is that you can write us directly at New York, spelled out NEWYORK, at awalightingdesigners.com. So that was a great question. There were a couple of others that I can recap here if you like, but I mean, everybody's read the answers. There's one question from a friend in Croatia that is a permanent installation plan for the future. Yes, the whole idea was that these were prototype installations, one done in Croatia, and the other done at a gallery here in New York City, the AWA gallery here. And the idea was that we do these prototypes so that we could showcase that to the investors who are, just been really supportive of this project. And we are marching forward towards installing 9 of these installations around the world. 2 of them would be first in the United States, New York and San Francisco. And the idea is that there are 5 programs. So the first one is called You Are the Miracle, which is the one that you saw. The next one is called, You Are Unique, with a YOU, and that's for peer pressure and bullying for, what happens in schools nowadays a lot. So that's a program for teenagers mostly. The third one is about uprootment and refugees. The fourth one is about race relations, and it's called Equality and Peace for All. And the fifth one is for victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. So we are using light and sound to create therapeutical installations, that'll be distributed around the world. So you could go there, choose one of the programs or all 5 of them. And there are great plans afoot because we started this, in-house, the whole audio and video was, done in-house. And then we took the help of ETC for putting together the lighting programming, the DMX programming for the lights. So that was very helpful, and thank you ETC for helping us with that. And we've been, approaching through this time of COVID-19, we've been working very, very strongly on this project and meeting a lot of investors that have shown interest. So stay tuned. There'll be definitely more along the way, just on our website. So on to an amazing question that just came in. Barbara Lee has asked the question of, curious as to why you chose to use the image of the Vietnam, being shot in the head of the Vietnam War. It seems quite a big horror jolt for those of us who lived it. Yes, it is a horror jolt especially for those who lived it and for humanity at large. The point was that we keep repeating the same mistakes, whether it was in Vietnam or before or after. And it's a political statement, which I'm never shy of making. The point is that humanity has to learn from the mistakes that we have made, not by pushing it under the carpet, by bringing it out to the fore and saying, let's not repeat this rubbish of crimes on humanity. It is a jolt, and it's kind of inserted in there. It's a 20-minute sequence, right, with guided meditation before and after. So it's inserted in the first minute after you show the universality of our existence, how all of us are connected. To, even though we are all connected, we keep doing these these horrid, tragic, on one part and silly on the other, human, I guess, human mistakes, and it was important for us to put that in, saying that life has to be appreciated in its full context. And I could go on about this. There is a lot connected to it, and I'm happy for you to write to us directly to my email, and I can have a separate conversation on this. There was a very controversial move that I made there, and your question is very appreciated. Thank you. Okay, what's our temperature and smell? Okay, thank you, Barbara, for your response. I'm happy to be in touch because it's a very controversial point, and I wanted to stress that this is something that we all have to learn from. Whether the kind of brutalities that happened during Vietnam War or what Pol Pot did in Cambodia, or what happened in Uganda, what happened in Argentina under the dictatorship. All of these are things that we shouldn't brush under the carpet for the generations that are coming in, right? But appreciating that the fact that we are all miracles by the mere fact of being able to do so many things that we can. So definitely take this offline with you. Thank you for that question. And on to the next question: what sort of considerations are made in regards to temperature and smell in the solarium? Are you referring to like Fahrenheit's, or I mean the temperature, like in the temperature setting, like is it 25 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit? Are you saying color temperature of the lights? So while you're typing in on that, the smells in the solarium, I'm glad you picked up on that with testimonials from the two young ladies at the end, that we believe, if you see the spreadsheet that Justin had inserted in the presentation, we believe that all the senses work together to create healing, right? Our eyes are, of course, big drivers. Thank you. Our eyes are big drivers to our visual, to our perception field. Like 70% of our perception is visual, but a lot of it is also connected to aroma, and you have to be careful in how we tread that, in terms of using the essential oils that we actually ended up using, because not everybody likes it, and we are trying to be universal, not for certain people, right? So that's been an ongoing process. The essential oils are actually a custom mix that I make for these installations. So it has different types of oils, but I kind of go something that would work as a lowest common denominator, So that's an important consideration. Then the clarification just came in, the actual temperature, just wondering how all the senses are affected. That's not a variable that we have explored just yet, Todd. We worked in a fairly comfortable setting, meaning that we were, this was in, that first installation was in September in Croatia, where the climate is just incredibly beautiful. So there was air conditioning, but we didn't really play with temperatures. That's a good variable. I haven't thought about that, but definitely we'll look into it a little more. And in New York, it was on December 12th. So the temperature was the temperature, what the building provides. So, but that's something to look into. Yeah, didn't think about that. That's a great question. Thank you. And are there more questions or?
There was a question in the panelist about saying that you've mentioned the success was to saturate the color in the direction of the dominant wavelength, but there was a caveat, and asking if you could repeat and
That's
explain.
A great question. Yeah. That's a great question. So the whole concept of memory colors, this is part of my graduate thesis from the early 90s at the Lighting Research Center, where the point of memory color is that it is often a few steps more saturated than the actual color measured under daylight. So for example, you would see a red and you would think it as a color that in the Munsell system is 2 steps above what its actual color is. So the caveat is that there is a keyhole of acceptability, that there is a certain amount of color saturation that you can do with memory colors. But if you go beyond that, then you are going away from the illusionary aspect into creating illusions. So that was the whole premise of my graduate thesis, that if you're lighting buildings with colored stones, right, what is it that you want to see? And that's in the illusionary with an A. And if you're creating illusions, then it's a different ballgame altogether. So that's the caveat, that you can't really, in the illusionary world, go beyond a certain point and still make it look illusionary. Okay, so that's how we doing. I guess
we're still good on time. I have another few minutes.
Another
Maybe the
question.
first one about the actual, how it's actually used for meditation.
Yeah, we can talk about that. So there is Okay, let me just answer this question that came in from Antonia. Yes. We have, if you see the overall plan, these installations are in the large and the extra large, right? Large is a 36-foot diameter dome. The question is, sorry, I should have said that. Do you think these experiences would be more intense if there would be a single person box or room? Well, I found, well, first let me answer the question about what sizes are available. So the Soularium comes in small, medium, large, and extra large, right? And then we have the two-person extra small, right? So what I found was that when I've been playing with this for the past 5-7 years, right? What I found was that I had a certain experience when I was in my own personal box. But my experience was super heightened when I had people around me. And part of it is that we are social animals. You know, we need that, you know, and that's why some of us have been struggling with this whole COVID thing. And, you know, because we're not able to hang out with people or connect with people. And we found that if you are doing a group, right, the energies are way different. It's like, it's called in Latin, the word is egregora, that it aggregates as an agora, as a public space, egregora, to create energies which are super compelling. The next question was that, is this a meditative space? I'm not denying the meditative aspect of it, but this is really a therapeutical space for public health, right? It's not supposed to be a meditative cave that you go in and you know, sit in your lotus position and you know, meditate with your chin mudra and close your eyes and do your breathing and all of that. You are welcome to do it, but that's not the idea. The idea is that this is for everybody. It's not meditative in the context of going into, you know, your own Calm or Headspace kind of an app, or to have your own little module just by itself. It's about using the properties of light, the super wavelengths, the lateral chromotherapy that I've been researching for many years. The super wavelengths, like I said, the frequencies that go into sound, how it connects to light, and creating storytelling using sounds from nature, from planets. So we downloaded, we bought files of NASA recordings of the different planets and how they connect to our existence. So these are ancient wisdoms that I'm stitching together from many different cultures, right? So the point is that it's not meditative. Yes, it is meditative, but it's not meant to be like, hey man, I'm just going to go in there and meditate. No, you could literally just walk off the street, and instead of going to a bar, trying to, you know, drown your worries in five shots of tequila, we're saying, don't do that. Why don't you just come in and, you know, use this as a way for your body to recalibrate, for your mind to recalibrate, and to be more in sync with what you wish to do, you know? So that's the context. This is a public space, open space, that you can go in for 30 minutes. You know, there's guided meditation before and after, you know, guided meditation. But after that, it's really therapeutical. And the reason we do the before and after is so that you're able to acclimatize both coming in and going out, right? Because it heightens the therapeutical effects of these 9 things that are part of this, right? And the great news is that a lot of this is patent pending or has a provisional patent. So we've been, you know, we put in a lot of effort in kind of doing this so that we can serve humanity with what we know with light and mix it with sound, which is a cousin of light, you know, and tell stories. Because I mean, at the base of it, we are really storytellers. Yeah, you know, we are storytellers in architecture, whether you wish to do it in an illusionary sense or an allusionary sense. You know, that's really your analysis of the project. So I've got the warning bell from the host saying that you have 2 more minutes. So if there's one last question, I would happily take it. Perfect. What other collaborators worked with you to create this healthful experience, or was it all AWA? I had a creative collaborator who's a healer here in New York City, Barbara Davis Thompson, amazing person. She is very connected to the healing modalities, not in light, but healing modalities at large, you know. So she, you know, for example, the spirit animal that you would see within the program is really her inspiration, you know. And then I kind of did the lateral chromotherapy. So she was helping me navigate the journey of making sure that this was healing, right? Because I'm not a professional healer. I know how to use light, you know, and sound for helping people. So she was able to direct me. Besides Barbara, it was our team at AWA, all in-house, that we did the sound, we did the projection, we did what else? Sound, projection, the light, and then of course, like I mentioned earlier, ETC. ETC was you know, Dean and Nick and other folks here in the ETC New York office. You know, we would go to them for saying, hey man, we need to DMX this in this kind of a movement. How do we do it? What kind of lights? What kind of saturations, etc. So, but the creative conceptualization has been many years in the making, right? And the thing is, and I'll wrap it up with this, is that we were pushing ourselves, even though we were super busy with our mainstream work from Mothership, that is AWA lighting designers. For some reason, we had taken up this challenge of installing this in Pula, Croatia. Great place. You should all visit. And we put ourselves on a deadline. We pushed ourselves, did this in September, which was a wide screen, it was beautiful. Then we got a small screen because in New York City, in Chelsea, we don't have that wide space. We have a narrow, long space. So we modified the screen, right? And then, you know, once these things happened, the way that all of this came together, as much as you cannot work or be okay.
There's some kind of audio breakdown.
Yeah, I don't know what's, so, and I think we're out of time in any case, and people have to go for the other things. So I just very quickly, I think we should just wrap it up, right? So the way it all started coming together was just before COVID time, you know. We had it all ready for public health before COVID came. And now we are taking it out for public health and putting it around the country. We have COVID, we have BLM, we have the pandemic economic thing that's coming in. So it just worked out to be, you know, amazing timing. And, you know, even before COVID, there was stress levels were high. The cortisol was really screwing with your systems. But now we are, you know, it's a game changer with everything that's happened. So thank you. And thank you, Justin, for putting it all together and for being so awesome. And happy anniversary to you and Ashley. And thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.